Peacekeeper's buff is eventually live and we can have it in all game modes. Ubisoft updated the game on January 28 and clarified their decisions regarding her changes. If you remember, I made a video about her changes in the testing grounds starting December 10, 2020, and in that video I mentioned that these changes are just for being tested and the final results may be totally different. And that's exactly what's happened. The final changes which have gone live now are not exactly what we experienced in the testing grounds. Ubisoft has made different decisions about her and we are seeing new stuff. However, some of the changes have remained intact and they are precisely same as what we had in the testing grounds. If you want to know what the changes in the testing grounds were, you can check my previous video in the top right corner and compare them to the current changes being stated in this one. So in this video, I'm going to explain the final changes in details. Let's see what Ubisoft has done to her and whether they have made her more viable or she still suffers from serious problems. If you want to find out, please stay with me to the end. Hello everyone, my name is TheFreeBorz and this is my YouTube channel. Welcome to another For Honor video. Without any further ado, let's dive into our main discussion and investigate Peacekeeper's newest changes. Number 1. Unblockables. Unblockable heavy finishers are one of the things that have remained intact compared to the testing grounds changes. As mentioned in the previous video, Peacekeeper now has an unblockable. But that's no ordinary unblockable, it's got preconditions. Yes, you heard me right, if you want to have an unblockable finisher, you've got to make your opponent bleed first. Otherwise, you won't have such a thing under other circumstances. I have stated before that I actually don't like this precondition, since I find Peacekeeper weak in terms of team fights and external pressure in ganking moments. I truly believe she needed some sort of kick or at least a normal unblockable for ganking moments. But she only gets an unblockable against a locked on bleeding target and that doesn't make so much difference in ganking moments in my opinion. Since if someone can easily block all your attacks externally, then Dagger Cancel or Guard Break, which can make them bleed, are not efficient. They can still externally block her and she can't put them under pressure like many other heroes. But anyway, it is what it is. That's what they've decided to give her and it's still a thing. I mean, having a preconditioned unblockable is way more satisfying than not having one at all. So keep in mind, whenever you make your opponent bleed, you've got roughly 10 seconds to use your unblockables for each bleeding attack. However, I still have a big problem with that thick blood feats Warden and Nobushi have, which makes Peacekeeper's bleeding damage almost useless. I deeply wish Ubisoft solves that issue somehow, it's a real contradiction. Number 2. Zone attacks. Zone attack has received the most changes compared to her other moves. There's lots of stuff they have done to her zone attack to make it more viable and practical. The first thing I would like to mention is that it's no longer considered as a light attack, and if the opponent somehow managed to parry it, they will only get a heavy parry punishment. This is a really motivational change that helps us use her zone attack more. Second, her zone attack has become enhanced. As you probably know, Peacekeeper's light attacks are ordinary against a non-bleeding target, but they become enhanced against a bleeding target. But now the zone attack's first hit is always enhanced against all targets, whether they are bleeding or not. In other words, her zone attack's second hit will always go on, even if the first one is blocked. This is an interesting change. Then they have given the opponent a medium hit reaction. It means if you decide to feint your second hit, they won't be able to attack you in the meantime. They are still suffering from the first hits once you decide to feint the second one. This gives her more power and ensures she can go for the soft or hard feint without being hit easily. Next is that you now have 2 more options for soft feinting your zone attack's second hits. Before this, she was only able to soft feint her second hit to a Dagger Cancel, but now she can also soft feint into a Guard Break or a Dodge, which obviously can be used as a dodge attack or a dashing forward attack as well. This means the opponent will have a really hard time guessing her next move after the first hit, and a small mistake can be punished extremely. Another change they have done is that the second hit of the zone attack will also become unblockable if the opponent is bleeding. That adds to the frustration the opponent will suffer from. Imagine you are fighting against a Peacekeeper, you are bleeding, she goes for an enhanced zone attack whose second hit is guaranteed if you don't parry the first one, and it is also unblockable. If you try to parry the unblockable, she can guard break you with a 3 stabs punishment dealing 38 damage over time. Or she can use her Dagger Cancel, or she can dodge attack you. Or if you simply don't try to parry, she might decide to actually land the unblockable. Confusing as hell, right? Next is that you can feint your zone attack's second hits up to 100 milliseconds before the parry window, which is amazing. You have more time to decide and it makes it harder for the opponent to read your mind and react to what you're going to do. Thumbs up for that change. And the last change regarding her zone attack is that she will recover in 700 milliseconds instead of 1000 milliseconds after her zone attack's second hits, which makes her able to attack again 300 milliseconds sooner than before. That also gives her more speed to attack or react, which is great. Number 3. Dagger Cancel. Thanks God, our prayers have been finally answered. She is finally getting some frames back after her Dagger Cancel. One of the main issues every Peacekeeper main like me had after the core combat update was the frame disadvantage she was suffering from after the hard feints and Dagger Cancels. So many were ranting and arguing about it. And now Ubisoft has decided to leave the hard feint be, but they have reduced the recovery time of the Dagger Cancel. Yes, it's correct. The recovery time has been reduced from 700 milliseconds to 400 milliseconds. You can continue your attacks 300 milliseconds sooner than before after your Dagger Cancel, and that is amazing to me personally. Another good news is that you can cancel your recovery even sooner than that. If you don't plan to attack after your Dagger Cancel for any reason like being nearly out of stamina or being ganked, you can dodge cancel your recovery in 333 milliseconds. As you know, this dodge cancel can be turned into a dodge attack or a dashing forward attack as well. This way, we won't suffer from that frustrating recovery time. I am really happy about that. Looks like Ubisoft has recognized that they had screwed her up after the CCU, and they have decided to generally make her a bit faster, which is all perfect. The reason I play assassins is their speed. If they are going to be slow, then there's no point in playing assassins. Number 4. Damage increase. If you have watched my previous video or you have studied the testing grounds changes, you most likely know that she received a considerable amount of damage buff in the testing grounds, and it made a lot of players rage that she will be overpowered. Looks like Ubisoft thinks the same, since they have decided to reduce the damage they are giving her. In the testing grounds, she received 5 extra damage for all her heavy attacks, including her dodge attack, which was perfect in my opinion. Not because she was dealing more damage on aggregate, but because her instant and raw damage was increased substantially and she had more chance to win the fights faster and also winning some executions. And even those people who were mad at Ubisoft stating she will be overpowered usually did not have a problem with her raw damage being higher. They were just arguing about her overall damage. Most of the fans were anticipating that they will deduct some of her bleeding damage and add it to the raw damage. This way she has more chance for winning executions and also winning faster. But it looks like Ubisoft is not listening to the fans about this. Just like the testing grounds, they have kept the bleeding damage intact, and they have decided to give her only 2 extra damage for all her heavies, which is surprisingly bad. 2 damage does not make that much difference at all. She needs less bleeding damage, obviously in the same amount of time to use her unblockables, but more raw damage. Let's use the dodge attack as an instance again. Before these changes, she used to deal 5 raw damage and 11 bleeding damage over roughly 10 seconds for her dodge attack, which means 16 in total. Now she deals 7 raw damage and again 11 bleeding damage over time, which means 18 in total. But if it was like 12 raw damage and 6 bleeding over time, it would still be 18, but she would have more chance to get executions out of them, and her damage would be more instant, helping her winning more executions and winning faster. Number 5. Deflect Button. And the last change they have done to her is that the deflection button has been changed from the light attack button to the heavy attack button. They have stated that this is to ensure that the deflection follow-up can be performed easier since the dodge attack input and the deflection attack input are now the same. So brace yourself for that, for I find it a bit irritating in my arrogant opinion. I mean, I've been playing the game for around 2 years and I'm used to some inputs. Changing the habits in my mind is not so easy. I may miss a few deflects first, but hopefully I will manage and get used to it. And what do you think? So yeah, these are the new changes Ubisoft has done to Peacekeeper. What is your opinion, my friends? Do you think she has become better? Do the changes suffice, or does she need more stuff? In my opinion, it seems to me that Ubisoft is trying to make her a bit faster than before. So they are giving her the attacking window and some frames back, and they are slightly increasing her power. I personally believe she could have been treated better, but what we've got is also not bad at all. And I'd love to hear your opinions as well, so please head to the comment section and share yours with me. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching another For Honor video of mine. I hope it was informative and useful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content, please do not forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and introduce me to your friends. I greatly appreciate your attention. You guys are brilliant. I am grateful and will catch you later with the next video. Stay home, stay safe. Peace out.